What happens when you ask AI to choose your glasses? Well, today we're about to find out because I'm going to be asking ChatGPT to choose my next pair, and we're going to be seeing if it's about to put me out of a job. So hi, I'm Robert, Style and Vision Consultant here at the Spectacle Factory, and it's my job to pair you with your perfect pair of glasses, but maybe not for much longer. I'm going to be critiquing the thought process behind ChatGPT's advice, and at the end of the video, I'm going to be buying whatever it tells me to buy. Hey, can you help me select my next pair of glasses? Absolutely. To make sure I recommend frames that suit you, I'll need a bit more info. Face shape, skin tone, hair and eye color, style preference, and any constraints. It says I can upload a picture, so I guess that would be where to start. Got it. I can't identify you personally, but I can give you feedback on the frames in your photo and suggest styles that could suit you well. Your current frames are rectangular with a thin metal rim. That's true. With a clean, minimalistic vibe, yeah, that's kind of my aesthetic most of the time. Face shape looks closer to oval with a slightly angular jawline. I would kind of agree, which is pretty versatile. Most frame styles will work for you. It's doing well so far. The light, neutral color of your frames blends subtly, which is great if you want them to disappear into your look. But you could go bolder for more presence. Pretty bang on. Suggestions for your next pair: bolder acetate frame, slightly thicker metal, round or softly squared frames, or a double bridge aviator. Okay. If you want, I can make a few mock-ups so you can see what different shapes and colors look like on your face. Not there yet because I want ChatGPT to recommend me specific brands of glasses. Can you tell me some specific models you think could work? During a consultation with me, I would be asking you all about yourself before I make my recommendations. And whilst you're telling me about yourself, I'm also analyzing your features. But this is just purely based on my face, apparently. So, okay, it's come out with a few very generic brands. We've got Ray-Ban, we've got Tom Ford, we've got Jimmy Fairley. And there's the classic Ray-Ban Aviator. I mean, that's a look. Tom Ford, I mean, that is probably the #1 brand that I wouldn't wear if you paid me to, and even ChatGPT is not going to be able to force me to wear Tom Ford. Quite like this frame from Jimmy Fairley, to be fair, the Steam. But I'm in the market for really good quality glasses, so would you recommend different options? If budget is no limit, you can step into the haute couture tier of eyewear. JMM, Jacques-Marie Mage, I think they should be in the equation if you're shopping for really high-end glasses. Lindbergh Precious, I talk about them all the time. Solid gold frames or buffalo horn frames, definitely be happy with one of those. Matsuda, cool. Maybach, beautiful, golden wood. Some interesting brands to pick from there. For the most part, I wouldn't personally wear those brands, but I'm open to it. But so far, these are just brands. Let's ask for more specific models. So we've got the JMM Dylan, solid choice. I've worn that on our channel before, actually. Very classic, Wayfarer-esque style, very bold, but definitely not for like my new daily glasses. Would I be comfortable with a frame as heavy as that? I do like this Lindbergh Air Titanium rim in the shield shape, but if I was shopping for a minimalistic frame, would I choose Lindbergh? Probably not. And this is the problem with search engines and AI. They're going to be generally picking from what are the most popular choices, and Lindbergh, if you go into any high-end optician, you're going to see them. But popular doesn't mean best, at least in my experience, and for me, a much less popular brand like Reykjavik Eyes is better than Lindbergh in every way. More durable, more comfortable, more original. These are awesome, and I don't think the Lindbergh would be an upgrade on what I already have. So let's help ChatGPT a little bit. Now it's identified Japanese craftsmanship: Matsuda, Masunaga, Dita, and Ivan. All pretty top choices. We've got Italian luxury from Persol. I wouldn't class them as luxury. And then we've got independent and artistic: Kirk & Kirk, Harlem, Makita. So far, ChatGPT is not asking me questions. It's just spitting out stuff. During a consultation, really, you've got to interact with the person, and I'm surprised it's not saying, you know, can you direct me a little bit? Can you give me a bit of input into what your aesthetic is and how you dress day to day and what kind of stuff you're into? Those are the things it needs to know. And now it's going back to JMM, Lindbergh, we've got Dita, Matsuda, Harlem all of a sudden. So now for some reason there's like a top 5 brands. And it does say, to be fair, why you might choose those brands and what the vibe of them is. If you like, I can now pull specific current season models from these brands and show you how they might look on your face so you can make a must-try list before you shop. Well, no, because I'm actually shopping here now, ChatGPT. Sure. You pick. Okay, it really likes that JMM deal and it's pretty obsessed with that for me. Maybe I'm gonna have to buy a JMM. It keeps going back to the Lindbergh Air Titanium as well. The Dieter Statement 6, that is an interesting choice because that's Clubmaster style. I've never worn anything like that. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't wear something like that. That would be definitely an interesting addition to my wardrobe. And the Matsuda 3086i, lightweight octagonal frame, crafted from titanium with delicate engraving. Well, let's narrow it down a little bit. Ooh, so it's really sticking with the JMM deal-in and the Dieter Statement 6. Let's see how they look. The only thing is that, you know, I tend to think I suit rounder frames better. It's interesting that it's going to do kind of virtual try-on. Virtual try-on is something that I think could be useful, but it's definitely not mature yet. So all the companies that offer virtual try-on, it's not scale accurate. It's just like a suit. You can have the most beautiful suit, but if it's not fitting you properly, it's not going to look right. And the same is true with glasses. So I'm very intrigued to see whether this will be scale accurate and whether these frames will fit me. You know, ultimately we've ended up with two fairly mainstream luxury brands in Dieter and JMM. I don't know if I'm fully happy with that. This is interesting. So that's definitely 100% nothing like how these two frames wear, okay? Look at the Statesman 6. It is rectangular, fully rectangular. Look at this picture. This is now a rounded Clubmaster. And this, the Dylan, is way chunkier than that in real life. That is definitely thicker there than this is on my face. But you know, overall, I don't mind the style. Also, these AI renders of me, do I actually look like that? Those are the glasses in the light, but they're not. That's so weird. It's actually changed the glasses in the boxes behind me. I'm into less mainstream brands. Can you propose something more special? So what have we got now? The Matsuda M3119. Okay, that's kind of quirky, but cool. It fits narrow. How do you know if it's going to fit me? High-end brands like Matsuda, fit isn't guesswork. You can get a pretty accurate sense before buying by looking at a few key specs. So it's referring to the frame measurements, but the frame measurements do not dictate how glasses fit. I've got glasses in my wardrobe which are 47. These are a 53, and both fit me equally. How do you know, ChatGPT, whether that frame is the right size for me? These suggestions are going to fit. So it wants me just to compare the numbers to what I have now, but that wouldn't work because if I'm choosing a round frame, it needs to be less than 50, and if I'm choosing a rectangular frame, it needs to be like 52 or more. Give it a bit of a hand. So I think that's fair to say. The lenses are considerably smaller and it may feel more compact. Bridge is wider. This could be beneficial if you want more breathing room at the nose. Not bad advice. I'm liking the Matsudas. I think we're getting close. So we've got the Masanaga GMS 117. Let's take a look. Not in the current catalogue. Okay, that's disappointing. What about different Masanaga from the current catalogue? The thing is, I've been wanting a Masanaga frame for quite a while, so now it's suggesting the Misago. That's miles too big for me. Don't know what the Kaguya is, I don't recognize that. Or is that's this? Third, the GMS 128T. It's kind of all over the place at this point, and if I was trying to be styled by ChatGPT, I would just be completely confused. You know, what you need is a clear recommendation. This is what you need to go with, and here's why. I think most people's experience when they go to the optician is that the salesperson is just going to keep telling them, what about this? Oh yeah, that looks good. What about this? Oh yeah, that looks good. And in my opinion, that is really frustrating for people because they want someone to be honest with them and say, look, this is what you should get and here is why. And I've never quite had that, and maybe I'm asking too much. You know, in terms of choosing glasses, most people don't have a clue where to start, and I don't really feel like this would have helped them. Let's help it out once again. So we've got the GMS 110, let's find that. Just ask for acetate, it's not acetate. I mean, it does have acetate temples, but I don't think that counts as an acetate frame. Still thinks the GMS 110 is a round acetate, probably because it mentions acetate on the product page. That's a fatal flaw. We've got the 196T, that's also not acetate at all. We've got the 123. Now that frame I know is too big and too bold. We've got it in the store. And the 805. Okay, actually, in the end, have we found our winner? Because this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Look at this. That exquisite detail here on the lugs and the bridge, the way that it's all screwed together in a very traditional way. For me, that epitomizes Masanaga, and that is a look that I don't really have at the moment. So let's go with that. I love the 805. Which color is best for me? My top pick, Tortoiseshell Havana or Forest Green if you want a unique signature color. So which one was the Forest Green? There isn't a Forest Green, okay. And it's just completely neglected the navy blue, which would have been the one that I would have been drawn to for sure. So its top pick, it says is the Tortoiseshell Havana. Well, I kind of need a Tortoiseshell Havana frame. I'm happy with that pick, let's go with it. What about the lenses? It's gonna be really intriguing to see if it recommends a tint. And now it's just spewing out quite a lot of generic stuff. It should be asking me, you know, what's your lifestyle like? What are your priorities? That's what I would be asking someone. Then you can build the lenses around them. How about tint? So the best quality lenses available today, it lists Zeiss, Rodenstock and Essilor. I think that's a pretty solid choice. You can't go wrong with lenses from any of those brands, but Zeiss is number one, and of course, I want to go with Zeiss. Now it's offering some tint options for everyday luxury, a subtle gradient tint, a soft fashion tint, around 10 to 20%, or photochromic. I mean, that would be an okay option, but I'm not looking for sunglasses today. I like to be in control over whether the lenses are light or dark, so I personally prefer a static tint for most of the time. Brown or grey gradient, or maybe a G15 amber or smoky blue. Those are quite uninspiring suggestions. They're, you know, the generic options that you'll get in most opticians, and that's not what I want from my glasses. So help me make these perfect with just the right tint for my skin tone. Let's see what it makes of that. So it's talking about Havana, why it works for me, which I agree, Havana would work well with my skin tone, that's not a bad pick. And the number one lens tint is a honey brown gradient. Starts at 20% at the top, fades to almost clear. Okay, we'll go with that. And what about the coating? It's recommending Zeiss DuraVision Platinum, even though that has been superseded recently. So I guess that's another limitation of ChatGPT, is it's always going to be a little bit behind because it's gathering the most information out there, not necessarily the newest information. And you'll find millions of articles online about DuraVision Platinum, but probably not much about the new DuraVision Gold. But I know that the DuraVision Gold would complement that honey brown tint really well here. So it's kind of let me down, but it's recommending Zeiss Smart Life Individual 1.67 with DuraVision Platinum and a 20% honey brown gradient. Let's lock that in, I'm gonna order it. And before we finish, you're absolutely right to consider the Spectacle Factory. It's a standout YouTube channel for anyone passionate about eyewear. Here's why it's worth your time. Thank you, ChatGPT. And on that note, I'm about to go order my new Masanaga glasses. If you want to find out exactly how they look and whether they're an upgrade on these glasses, then make sure you're subscribed.